It's time for the new compilation. Today, 10 of your favorite tips and tricks for Inkscape. The update 1.3 for Inkscape was huge, and one of the biggest additions to the program was a native shape builder tool. So now when you got multiple shapes, like in my case, I can use this shape builder tool here to create a new shape out of them. And as you can see, not only my shapes are highlighted, but any intersection, for example this area here. This was not a shape at first, but based on the intersecting lines I can quickly turn it into a proper vector shape. As you can see, we got plus mode and minus mode, so we can add or delete. Let's start with the plus mode, and now I can select which part I want to keep. Click and kind of drag through to highlight with the blue color what you want to keep. Click OK, and that's our new shape. We built a new shape based on 3 different shapes. That's a great way to create a nice symbol or logo. Let's undo and select everything once more. Switch to shape builder tool. Let's try the minus mode. Now I can erase what I need from this area and keep everything else. Click OK to confirm, and here's my new shape. So we get rid of the part in the middle. So that's how we can use the shape builder tool. Be sure you got more than one shape, everything is selected nicely, and then select the shape builder tool. When in the special mode, you can decide between adding or removing elements from that composition. Today we're going to convert a bitmap PNG into vector SVG using free software called Inkscape. Inkscape is available for multiple platforms: Windows, Mac, Linux. So just download Inkscape, drag and drop your bitmap, PNG or JPEG, click on it, and then head to the Path menu at the top. You will see there's an option to trace bitmap. Click on it, and now on the right side I got this trace bitmap preview here, when I can modify multiple settings to adjust it for my needs. Right now the live preview is showing me this black and white picture, but we can change the mode here to auto trace, and it's more like the original one. We are still in single scan. We can move to the next tab for multicolor pictures, and from here we can work with colors. That should give us the best result for our picture. Let's try out by clicking apply at the bottom. Alright, I'm going to zoom in now so we can inspect this design. Look at that, we get rid of the pixels and now everything is replaced with curves. Curves are way better because we can scale them up and down without losing quality, and they're also way easier to recolor. So if you want to recolor something, you can just simply search for the certain path for that object, like this one here, and we can change the color of it. Take a look, now it's green. That was quick. Alright, so that's how you can easily convert your PNG or JPEG to vector graphics using the free software called Inkscape. If you are happy with your results, you can export that as SVG files. It will stay as vector. And of course, now we can get rid of the backdrop and we can get rid of the original one as well. Okay, let's save it as new file, as the vector file. So I click File, and now I search for Export. While exporting this, I'm going to keep it as SVG. This way I can maintain this as vector graphics. Let me show you how you can crop part of the image out using Inkscape. Inkscape is not a typical raster editing software, it's a vector graphic software, so the process is a bit different. First, let's simply drag and drop our image. As you can see, my image is huge, way bigger than the artboard. I will need to zoom out a bit and scale the image down. I'm going to press Command- to zoom out. Alright, that's better. I select my image. I'm sure to turn on this little padlock so I will get exactly same proportions. And now I can just push the corner in to scale it down and reposition on my artboard. Alright, let's zoom in a bit. Command+ this time. Alright, the image is smaller. I know exactly what size of the image I will need. I need something really small, so I'm going to pick a rectangle tool. That's right, to crop the image we need some shape that we're going to use as a crop mask. So I pick the rectangle tool and I draw the rectangle. Your rectangle may be filled with color like that. You can get rid of the color by clicking transparency. You can keep the line around, that's helpful, so we can see exactly where and how big the shape is. We can type exact size of this shape at the very top. We got width and height here. So let's type height. I'm working with millimeters, but you can adjust this here. Height, I want this to be only width will be 100 millimeters and height will be only 200 millimeters. Alright, so we got this unusual aspect ratio. Now I can position this kind of on my image and then select the image and make all necessary adjustments. So I can scale it up and down. And as you can see, part of my image is outside that shape. So this part on the left and right will be cut out. Now I simply need to select both the shape and the image, right click and set clip, and we clip in the image with the shape that we draw. Let's undo this. Let's delete this shape and try unusual shape like a circle. What if you need to make a circle clipping mask? We can do it as well. Alright, so position your circle, select both the image and the shape, right click, set clip. Here it is. That's how you can crop and clip your images using shapes in Inkscape. Of course, you could also customize the size of the page or start with the page that you need, so you can set up the size while you're creating the document. Let's learn how to align and distribute elements in Inkscape. First, you need to select more than one element. I got 4 different shapes here. Now it's time to go to the top over here and open up this whole Align and Distribute panel. It should pop up on the right side, just like this. As you can see, we got multiple options here. We can align it vertically and horizontally. Based on my alignment, the initial one, I should aim to align this in the horizontally manner. So I just click align and all of my shapes jump to the top of my artboard. Why is that? Because now I'm aligning to the page. So we can change that. So let me just move this stuff around once more. Alright, so now instead of aligning to the page, I can align to the last selected object, first selected object, biggest, the smallest, the whole page. We tried that already. Selection area, and that's interesting one. Let's try this. Now I will align to the center, and I got everything nicely to the center of that selection area, what the selection area is for multiple objects. So the selection area is now from here to here. So each object kind of marking one side of the selection area. We can move it to the top of selection area and the selection area is already changed. Alright, it's the very same thing. If you got something in the vertical position, you must pay attention to what is selected here. Let's now align to the whole page. And we managed to do that. How about distribution? We can do a horizontal or vertical distribution. Now we still got selected the whole page, so take a look. Now we got even top to the edge, vertical gaps. We do not have any text here, so the last option is not useful right now. We got the whole rearrange panel just below. We can even click this random rearrangement if you want some more organic look. It's going to be super helpful if you're making like leaves or grass. There's option for unclap the objects. We can switch it, right? So we can rearrange automatically and we can distribute them. And of course, as I already showed you, we can align those objects using the very first section here. Just be sure you're aligning to what you want. It's at the page, the smallest object, the biggest one, or the selection area. That's the most universal one. That's how you can align, rearrange, and even distribute your objects in Inkscape. Let me show you how we can apply different Boolean operations between two different shapes. This way we can combine them into new shapes. So what you need are at least two vector shapes, then select them both, and then head to the path menu at the very top. As you can see, there are several different operations we can try. The first one on the list is union. This will turn both shapes into one. So we add those two shapes to create a brand new bigger shape. Let's undo and try the second one. So I again select both, path, and then next one is difference, also called subtract. If you click on that, the top shape, the shape above, will be used to subtract the piece of the shape below. So we kind of create a hole in this shape. What's next? There is intersection option, and as you may guess, only the intersecting part will be left and everything around is gone now. Next thing is an opposite to that operation, exclusion. So now the intersecting part is gone and everything else is still here. There's also division that will cut all of those pieces of the composition. Take a look. When I click this first, seems like kind of the top shape disappear, but actually this part can be moved out. So that's definitely an interesting action. Path, combine. It may look like a union at the first glance, but if I head to path again and now select break apart, I can kind of go back to having two shapes. So this way is a non-destructive way. There's also option to split paths and fracture them. If you select fracture, at first seems like nothing really happened, but take a look. Now everything works as a separate shape. And the last one is flatten. And at first seems like nothing happened, but when you move the top shape, you will see that shape below was cut. Alright, so here are all of your Boolean operations. The most popular one are definitely the one at the very top here, union to add shapes together, difference or subtract to cut the hole in the shape below, and very often use intersections. Keep in mind, nowadays with the shape builder tool we got alternative options. So if you select both shapes together, you can also grab the shape builder tool from the tool panel, change the mode to add or subtract, and then you can use that. It was definitely subtract. Let's use the plus mode with adding, and then we can unite this into one shape as well using shape builder. Let me show you how you can add text to your Inkscape project. Simply head to the left to our tool panel and search for this letter A. That's the text tool. You can also trigger this tool by pressing letter T on your keyboard. With this tool selected, you will be able to click on your artboard, and this will allow you to type the text. As you can see, my text is really tiny, so I will select my text and then using the top menu here I can change the font. So we can change the font appearance, I can change the size of the font, and if the font comes with different variations like normal, italic, bold, you can also trigger that from this menu in the middle. Keep in mind, you can move between different units. We got points by default. You can add extra spacing for baseline. You can align the text to the left, center, and right. So very standard set of features. You can also open up this menu here if you want your text to be written from the top to the bottom. There are some options for the text written from the top to the bottom as a native. So in that case, we're flipping each letter so it's look like vertical text. And on the last one, we can use that for some languages that are written from the right to the left. So that's a nice thing to have if you are using multiple languages in your Inkscape. All right, keep in mind you can still use the move tool to scale your text. If you want to maintain the original ratio of the font, please hold Shift for that, because we don't want to stretch the font too much. All right, so that's how you can add text in Inkscape. There is a dedicated text tool on your tool panel on the left, so please use that. Hey guys, you've been asking me how to mirror element in Inkscape. The easiest way is to simply select the object, whether it's vector or raster image, and search for flipping options at the top. So we can flip it horizontally or vertically just with one click here from the menu. Take a look, flip, 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 flip. If you got an illustration with multiple vector elements, keep in mind if you select only one element, then you will flip that one center element. You want to flip the whole thing, select multiple objects same time, and then flip it. You can also head to the view menu at the top, where you have option in orientation to flip the whole artboard. Take a look. The whole document is flipped right now. So that's how you can do it. It's really simple. Select the element and use the flipping option from the menu above. Just keep in mind, we only flip the view, but after you export this to, let's say, PDF, it will be all back into the original order. By default, Inkscape saved the files as SVG, Scalable Vector Graphics. More and more programs can open it, web browsers included, but to be sure that everybody will be able to see your artwork, see your project, we will need to export the file into a raster graphic file, like common popular files like JPEGs or PNGs. So let me just show you how you can save your Inkscape as JPEG or PNG. Let's head to File at the top left, and instead of clicking Save in the vector format, we need to search for Export over here. After that, you will see the panel on the right side of your screen. From here, you can decide about the size of it, DPI, do you want to export the backdrop or transparency? By default, you are exporting transparency, but you can change that to backdrop color like white. You can decide about location, where you will save this new file, and finally the format. So you can select PNG or JPEG, or if you want to stick with vectors, you can select SVG or PDF. PDF also supports vectors. So let's go really simple, just JPEG, click export, and we are done. I already opened up this new file, as you can see here in the preview, and everything is just fine. So that's how you can export your projects from Inkscape to common image formats. How can we change a page size, artboard size in Inkscape? I'm here on Inkscape on my Mac, and we need to go to Documents Properties. One way we can do that is to simply go to the top menu, click File and search for Document Properties. There's also an easier way. We can simply right-click, and you should be able to see Document Properties from here. As you can see, there's also a shortcut that's Shift Command D on Mac or Shift Control D on Windows. From here, we can change the size of the paper, you could say. We got formats that are predetermined here, but you can also type it from keyboard. Feel free to change units if you prefer inches or pixels. We can resize our document easily. And if you are ready, so let's say we're changing this to A3, as you can see, the document is simply changing in the backdrop. The good thing is, most of the time you're going to work with vector graphics in this software, and this can be scaled up and down without losing quality. When we are already here, we can change some other settings. For example, we can turn on familiar checkerboarding. You can adjust the page color here, display color. You can adjust the outside color as well, the border color. You can make the border really dark so you can see it easily. And the desk is the area around your artboard. I know some of you prefer to have the desk area really dark, contrasting with the paper. Alright, so we just modify some document properties, we change the size of it, and now we can work with the new size. How to download and install Inkscape on your Mac. Inkscape is completely free, open source vector editing software similar to Adobe Illustrator or Affinity Designer. You just need to head to the official website, so be sure that's the inkscape.org, not any other website. So inkscape.org, and then you will see a download now button over here. As you can see, the newest version is 1.32, and that's great news. Since version 1.2, we got really good performance on Mac, even on Apple Silicon. So let's head to Downloads, and from here you can select your version. So there's version for Linux, Windows, and also for Mac OS as well. So I click Mac OS, and as you can see, we got choice here. If you are still on the old Mac using Intel processor, you need to download the one on the left. If you are on the modern Mac computer using M1, M2, M3, or maybe in the future M4, use the one on the right. If you are not sure which computer are you on, simply click on this Apple logo at the top left and select about this Mac. As you can see, in my case, I'm on MacBook Air M1 2020. So I need to select M1 version. After you click on that, you will start your download, so you can save the installation file on your drive. This will be in the same folder that all of the stuff we always download from the internet. Alright, here it is, Inkscape 132. I click on it twice and I will see this installation box when I can just drag this Inkscape icon to my applications. After you finish your installation process, you can also right-click and eject the Inkscape file here from your desktop and head to the Launchpad to turn on your Inkscape. And here it is, a free Inkscape on your Mac. Just be sure you download the official one from inkscape.org. I hope this short tutorial was helpful. See you in the next one.